Hello everyone, Sandy Tayna here bringing you the Melanin Perspective, and today we are at the barbershop speaking to
Michael Overton.
Alright, so are you ready for your questions today?
I am.
Alright you guys, he already picked all his numbers, so we're just gonna go right into it.
Okay.
And first one, you picked number 12. How do you feel about the current state of American politics?
the
Be
current
honest.
state of American
Be
politics.
honest, be real.
I mean, well, American politics are Russian politics right now because the Russians seem to be controlling our politics. But as American people, we took past us. We took voting for granted. Because I have, like, for example, at my job, I have a lot of people that didn't vote in this last election. Mm-hmm. And they seem to feel like, well, what am I voting for? My vote doesn't count. Or what am I voting for because it's really not going to matter. There's so many other people voting that my one vote isn't going to change anything. And then you ended up with this douchebag in office. And now these same people are complaining and crying and this, that, and the third. And I tell everybody the same thing. I don't want to hear it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear it because to me, if you didn't vote, then you don't have a voice. So don't want to be vocal now. I don't care. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much where I'm at now. Do I think it'll all change and go back to what it is? I do. I do. I think
we all hope so.
It's no way. It's no way this guy can win another election. It's impossible.
Man, listen. We thought he wasn't gonna win the first time, but
and then it'll get somewhat back to normalcy. I mean, this whole wall thing and all that other crap, man. It'll get back to normalcy. But you just, I guess my point is, I think a lot of people realize how important their vote really is. And I think going forward, especially the black community, I think going forward, you'll see more change when it comes to that. And if anything had to come out of Trump being president, if that's what comes out of Trump being president, then I'm okay with that. And that's how I feel about American politics.
Okay.
From the heart.
All right, next question.
Really burns.
Next question. You picked 17. How do you feel about older men being with young girls and young women, such as the R. Kelly era is what I call it, the early 90s?
Right.
You think it's right?
Well,
wrong?
when you mean
Does
like
love have an age?
All right. For example, I'm 42. Mm-hmm. I can't see myself dating a 20-year-old. Mm-hmm. Because at 20, we have nothing in common. Like, what do you know?
Could it be possible that she's mature?
No. I mean, you could be mature for your age. You could be mature for 20. You can have children and live on your own and have a good job. These things can happen at 20, but I've experienced more life than you have. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, if you're talking about just sleeping with younger people or you know what I mean, that's something different.
Right.
You don't have to have a lot in common to sleep together.
Yeah,
we don't have to have anything in common to sleep together.
Do you think it's right though? Like, especially that situation, R. Kelly with like 15, 16-year-old girls.
You talking about pedophilia. That's a little different.
Yeah, I guess. Some people don't call it that because they've done it. Like, you notice like a lot of these big celebrities, they're probably quiet about it because, they know they used to hit that young girl back in the days. They're like, let me stay quiet because
the world has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. And the world will always continue to change and evolve and all that. But that's one thing I don't think will ever be accepted is child molestation. Mm-hmm. And then I don't really know. I know like for example, I can't say that on TV. But I know men that only date younger women. Because I think it's because they have their own what's the word I'm looking for? Insecurities. Mm-hmm. And that's why they date younger women, because women their age, they can't seem to handle. That's what I think it is. You know what I mean? But I know men that only date older women, and it works I guess it really doesn't work out because they're not married or anything like that. But and I know young guys that only date older women. Like I know skinny dudes that only date big women, and you know what I'm saying, big dudes only date small women. Like to each their own, but the pedophilia, nah. That'll never be acceptable. I mean, like who does that?
Right.
Like I said, even at the age I am now, I think the lowest I probably, as I'm 42, the lowest I probably would go would probably be 30. I would date a 30-year-old woman. But anything under that, I just feel like you just haven't, you haven't lived enough life.
Not mature enough.
Nah.
All right. Ready for your next question, mister?
Let's get it on.
Okay, this one's a little heavy. Have you ever cheated on a woman? If so, why?
Have I ever cheated on a woman? Of course.
It don't gotta be the current one, you know what I'm saying? Just a general.
No, it's not the current one, but have I ever cheated on women?
As a man, have you ever cheated on a woman?
Well, yeah. Now, when I was a teenager, that was different because teenagers, that's what they do. I mean, you don't know what love is. You're a teenager. I mean, that's what you do. But as a man, I have cheated on women, and what I've learned is people cheat for two reasons. Because if you're happy in your relationship, then you have no reason to look outside of it. Because they're either bored. I think that's the main one. Boredom. People cheat because they're bored. You got the same routine every day, and because that happened to me a while ago. Like my lady, she just, you know, I got complacent.
Okay.
And I started kind of like taking her for granted, and not really taking her for granted, but taking our relationship for granted.
Okay.
And I went to work and came home, and went to work and came home, and that was really it. And when we did go out, we went to the same places to eat, the same places to drink.
Yeah, I know how that can
So, you know, she started getting bored.
Right, okay.
And it caused her to kind of, you know, be able to catch a wandering eye, so to speak.
Right.
And luckily for me, I was able to straighten up my act and get back on my game, so to speak. And it ultimately ended up working out for us. But
that's good.
I think people cheat because they're bored. I mean, some people do it just because it's just their nature. They can't be monogamous.
Right.
Like some people just can't be monogamous.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? They just can't be with one woman or one man. But I think boredom is, if you're happy at home, I'm sorry, I just don't see the reason why you.
Yeah, me neither. That's a hard
my woman and I have been together for almost 10 years now. And I'm still as attracted to her physically and emotionally as I was the day I met her.
Okay.
So I have no desire to go outside my relationship. 10 years later, I have no desire.
Do women blatantly flirt with you, and how do you feel about it? Do you think it's right for women to like just...
I think everybody flirts.
Okay.
I think everybody flirts. It's levels to it. Okay. Like even at work, you know what I mean? People, you know what I mean? Especially in my job, I mean, we all say little, innocent things to each other. You know what I mean? But it's nothing,
right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing harmful. Like, I think everybody flirts to an extent. I mean, I don't even care if you're married. Like, you could be sitting there, if you're a married man, and you're sitting in the Dunkin' Donuts, and this fine woman is sitting across the street winking at you. I mean, you're going to smile, you know what I mean? You're going to crack that smile and wink back, and you know you're not about to ask her for a phone number or nothing like that, you know what I mean? You know you're not. It's not going to go any further than that wink, but it's still flirting.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I think everyone flirts to an extent.
What is your favorite decade and why?
That I lived in, or that I would love to have grown up in?
I think that you lived within, yeah.
I mean, well...
60s, 70s, 80s?
I mean, well, I turned 13 in 1990, so... You know, I was a teenager in the 90s, which was fun. It was awesome. Now, if I had a decade that I would like to have grown up in, if I could have turned 13 in 1970, because I'm infatuated with the 70s. I love the 70s. I love everything about the 70s.
Okay.
I love everything about the 70s. So if I could have did that, that'd been perfect. But I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up before cell phones and before the internet. And, you know what I mean? Like I said, I grew up at a time when you went outside and
played and figured life out instead of being on.
You were a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean, I remember last summer I was driving down the street and I seen these young dudes out there, and they were trying to throw a football, and they all looked like girls throwing this football. And I mean, these dudes was probably like 11, 12 years old. Like they wasn't kids. They was like 11, 12 years old. And they looked like girls throwing this football. And I said to myself, these dudes cannot, these are boys that can't throw a football, but I bet you, if they was sitting there playing Madden, you know what I mean, it'd be unbeatable. Right. So for that reason, I'm glad I grew up in the era before technology, before social media, when if you wanted to meet a girl, you and your team, y'all got together, you put a pen in your pocket and a piece of paper in your pocket. Y'all went to the mall, and the whole goal, the name of the game, was to see who can come home with more numbers at the end of the night. So you had to have some type of game,
right?
You know what I mean, to be able to get these girls. These dudes nowadays ain't got no game,
right? You
know what I mean? They meeting girls on the gram, and where else you meet girls at? I don't even know.
Online.
Yeah, it's all online. It's all online. I told my son that. I said, you ain't got no game, man. You don't even know what it is to you know what I mean, to introduce yourself to a woman. You don't even know what it is. But I'm just glad I grew up when I did. Because these kids nowadays, they got it bad.
Yeah, man.
Okay, Cupid.
Okay, Cupid, right.
Yeah, fish.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I've tried them all.
They got it bad. I've tried them all.
Tried them all.
You ain't do what's the Christian mingle?
oh no, I'm good. I'm not into religion, so I'm definitely no.
See, me neither. I'm not into religion either.
2, what do you think about eating meat?
Eating meat?
Meat.
I can't imagine life without meat.
Okay.
I got teeth for a reason. I'm a carnivore.
Ooh, okay.
All animals that got teeth, well, not all of them, but most animals that got teeth eat meat. You gonna tell me I can't eat no beef? No, I can't eat a steak no more? Girl, please.
So what do you think about people that say it's bad for your health? Do you think it is, or do you think it depends on the person, or? Well,
I think too much of anything is bad for you.
Okay.
No matter what it is, too much of anything is bad for you. Too much money is bad for you. Too much water is bad for you. I remember a story I read in the newspaper years ago. A female inmate in prison died from drinking too much water. So you say, well, how the hell can you die from drinking too much water?
Right.
What happened was she drank so much water that it thinned her blood.
Oh, okay.
So she caught a cold, but her blood, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but her blood was so thin that her white blood cells was, you know what I mean, and she ended up like really dying from a simple cold. So
yeah, I feel you.
Too much of anything is bad for you, but I mean, I just can't imagine life without meat. I'm sorry. You gonna tell me I can't eat a rib, a burger? I can't picture it.
Yeah, I guess in moderation, because I know I still eat meat.
No, I can give away.
I try not to sometimes, but it's a process.
I can give away certain meats, like how they say beef stays in your system longer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I can stop eating certain meats. Like if you told me I couldn't eat beef anymore, but I could still eat chicken and, you know what I mean, pork, you know what I mean, like, okay. Or to me, I couldn't eat pork anymore, but to give it all up, it'll never happen.
Yeah, it is hard to give it all up.
It'll never happen.
It really is.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen. You can take all my teeth, it'll never happen.
What do you think about having threesomes and relationships?
Been there, done that a million times.
Do you think it's okay? Depends on the couple? Absolutely not. Well, you said you've been there, so.
Been there, done that a million times.
Okay, so that's the answer. He's very into it.
Listen.
Because some people are like, no, you shouldn't share yourself with other people. You know, everybody's different.
I feel like if your relationship is secure and you guys are confident that the other person can handle this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Because, all right, I can't say that either. I gotta watch what I say here.
Yes,
people are going to see this.
Right.
If you're confident in your relationship and you know your relationship is strong and has a good foundation, this, that, and third, mm-hmm. then I don't see anything wrong with it. Now, I will say this. Because I have been down this road a couple times, there are rules to it. For example, we can't bring any of your friends into the bedroom. We can't bring any of my friends into the bedroom.
Yeah, that makes
sense. So this has to be someone that we have to meet together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether
that makes a lot.
Right. Whether we go out one night and,
right.
you know what I mean, we end up meeting someone. This is something we met together, get to know them and this, that, and third, and that's different because it's an even playing field. And if you can do that, and I don't see nothing wrong with it personally. You know what I mean? Plus, it's a good relationship spicer because, what happens with me in the beginning, we'll do that, and then like for the next couple of weeks, it's just like our sex life, just one-on-one is now like through the roof because maybe because she's thinking about that, and she's like, oh, I remember when that girl did that to me. And, you know what I mean? I'm about to top that real quick. And, you know what I mean? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Right.
But like I said, I've done that in different relationships, not just one.
Okay.
Different relationships, and it always worked out at the end, and it was never, it never became an issue.
Okay.
It never became an arguing point. It was just always what it was because I, as a man, was mature enough to, like, I'm not going to, like, we're not going to do this that night, and I'm going to be sneaking off to call her one-on-one.
Right. No, I think that a lot of women probably that's what they worry about.
I think that's what they think. I think that's what women worry about. Yeah.
Right.
They worry about, is he going to get with her when I'm not around?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. You have to be at a certain maturity in your relationship. I believe that young relationships shouldn't do it.
Okay.
If you're with somebody and this has been, y'all been together a year, 2 years, I think that's too young in a relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to have built that stability and that foundation. But if you have all that, like I said, I was able to do it and nothing bad ever came out of it. And you gotta make sure you don't find no crazy chick.
Yeah.
She has to be mature also because she can't be calling him, you know what I mean, outside of the, the date, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? So all three parties have to be, you know what I mean, cool.
And respectable about it,
Right.
Okay, interesting. All right. What do you think about black people who say to get over slavery because it was a long time ago? Do you agree or disagree?
Get over it because it was a long time ago. I'm kind of...
And plus there's kind of still slavery going on in certain, you know what I mean, certain parts of the world, even in America, so...
It is.
Yeah.
I'm kind of split down the middle with that.
Okay.
Because, all right, like my generation, us, my generation, kids younger than me, like we experience it. You see all the police shootings and, you see different racism acts going on. So you know that it's there, the racism part. And so it's always in the front of your mind. Now you have older black people that are in their 60s and 70s, and they lived all these things that we read about and that we see on television. They were there for Dr. King and the segregation, and they were there for that. And because I'm not gonna lie to you, most older people I know, black people, men and women, they don't like white people. They don't. Right. And the reason why is because they remembered this going on. They just don't like. It's not that long ago. Right. And they were getting, this is back when lynching and all this stuff was happening. And it's not about being from down south or being from up north. Like, it was going on everywhere. So I would never tell an older person, get over it.
Right.
No, because they have scars. They have mental scars from seeing this happen, and whether it happened to other people, whether it happened to them. So I would never tell them to get over it. You know what I mean? Now, I do believe that we as a people can't blame everything on racism. Right. Oh, I ain't get the job because I'm black. Oh, this ain't happened because I'm black.
Yeah,
I got the police stopped me because I'm black. The police ain't always stopping you because you black.
That's true.
How about the fact that you carrying that beer and smoking that blunt while you walking down the street? Maybe that's why they stopped you.
Or driving reckless.
Or yeah, I mean you just ran that red light. That's why they stopped you. I mean, how about that?
Right.
You know what I mean? It ain't gonna do with you being black.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like I said, it's I'm split down the middle because I get it. I mean, we all see it firsthand. You got the whole Colin Kaepernick thing. We all see it firsthand. It's every day in 2019. It's still going on. So we do have a reason to feel like. I mean, yeah, you're right. We're not in chains and out the cotton fields anymore. You're right. But to an extent, yeah, slavery still. It's more of a mental slavery now, but it still exists. So I get it. And we do have right to feel the way we feel, but you don't have a right to feel like everything that happens in society is based on black and white. It's based on you being black. And that's just not the case.
Right. I agree.
We have a lot more opportunities now than we've ever had. And
yeah, absolutely. You're
right. Feel me?
Okay. Do you share important information about yourself within the first 30 days of dating someone? Like, maybe you've been in jail, or maybe sexual things about you, maybe traumatic things.
Yes.
Your social, your last name, I don't know.
Yes, I do. I do. Within the first 30 days?
Right, yeah.
I do.
Shit, it could even be less than that. I mean,
my life is... It's not. My life is an open book. Like, if you ask me, I'll tell you. Like, I mean, everyone has done things in life that they're not 100% proud of. I get it, but I've never done anything in life that I'm ashamed of.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't think of a single example right now that I was ashamed. I don't want anyone to ever know this. Like, I can't think of one. Okay. So, and if I'm trying to, get to know somebody.
Right.
If they ask me, I'm going to tell them.
Yeah, especially
and I will hope you would do the same thing.
Right, especially if it's somebody you're really into. Like,
right
now, not just anybody you go and tell everything to. Like,
right now, I'll be wrong. I'm not saying that everyone should feel that way I feel, because like, if you were, for example, let's say you were molested as a child.
Right.
I'm not saying you're supposed to, meet me and instantly just start telling me stuff like that. I get it.
Right.
I get it. So, depending on, what it is that happened in your life, you might go 2 years into the relationship before you tell your mate about your molestation that happened.
That's a long time. Like,
but I can dig it. Some people might have bottled it all up and not. It takes a lot for them to let it out. You know what I mean? You might have been in an abusive relationship, male or female.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and it took you a long time to trust somebody again. Like, so I get it, but me personally, I ain't got no problem with it. If you ask me, you can ask me an hour after I meet you. I'm
the same way. I don't like holding shit back. Like, for what?
Yeah, like,
especially if it's something really important that I feel most people probably be like offended or turned off by. Then I'm like, I'll make sure I tell you like at the very beginning.
The only thing I might not tell you maybe how much money I make. You know what I mean? Like, because you might not need to know that right now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I do for a living.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
But I don't think you need to know my dollar signs right now, because that might change your reason for, you know what I mean?
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But anything else, it's pretty much okay.
And your final question. You start dating a woman and you notice a few flaws about her that you don't usually like. So now do you back off of her and leave her hanging, or do you maybe help her change these flaws? Let's say something that you normally wouldn't go for in a woman. Maybe she's I don't know, insecure. Maybe she wears a weave. I don't know, just random.
Wears a leaf.
A weave.
Oh,
weave. I'm sorry.
Did
I say leaf or weave?
No,
I don't know.
I just like you said a leaf, like on some Adam and Eve type stuff.
Yeah, like maybe it's something that you don't typically go for that usually turns you off, and you're like, maybe she's worth it. Like, do you leave her hanging and be like, nah, I can't deal with this again? Or do you be like, you know what? I'm going to try to put some effort into maybe trying to help this person out. Like, how do you feel? It could be both situation, male or female. Do you feel like...
I mean, let me see. Okay, first of all, if physical attributes, if you're doing something, if you got something going on, for example, I'll give you an example. I don't like fake eyelashes. I just don't. And I don't care how beautiful the woman is.
Me neither.
I just don't want, I don't want this to come out the wrong way. And you might end up having to edit this part, I don't know. But when I see fake eyelashes, it makes me think of like a transsexual or like a transvestite. Like that's how
I remember back.
That's what I think of when I, especially them big long eyelashes.
The long ones, right?
Like, so I don't like a woman with eyelashes. So if I'm meeting, like if I see a woman and I want to approach her, if she got that going on, I'm not even going to approach her anyway. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to approach her anyway.
I feel you. Okay.
But so I guess the physical part's going to come first. You're going to physically see a person before you approach them. So if you see something you don't like, then more than likely you're probably not going to approach them. Now, so let's say we're past the physical part. Now it's all emotional or mental. And now you like what you see physically, so now you meeting this person, you get to know them, and then something's kicking in where you're like, I don't know, she could be.
Maybe she don't cook. Maybe she dirty. Right, and you're like,
something
damn,
like
I hate
that.
this shit. Like,
right.
What you gonna be like? Damn.
Now, are you going to try to work on this because she's a really nice girl? She's a really sweet girl, but she don't know how to cook. Me personally, I like to eat, so that wouldn't fly with me. But she's a really sweet girl, but she's not the cleanest person. Could I deal with that? I mean, I could. I can't say I wouldn't give it a try.
Okay.
If you're a really nice person, you're just genuinely a nice person, kind-hearted person, but you just not dirty. Not dirty. 'Cause I'm a really clean dude. Like, people think I got OCD. I'm a really clean dude. But you're not dirty, but you're just not the cleanest person. I could probably work with something like that. Or you're just a little. Give me another example. Like, I'm trying to think of examples that I could work with. Like, I don't want to say whiny, like spoiled, like stuff like that. Like, man, I mean, you could even be a little spoiled. And, you know what I mean? I'm just like, man, you just a daddy's little girl, but you're really sweet. And I could try to, you know what I mean? You know, or you're the kind of woman that you're not the best reader. You know what I mean? Like, your reading level isn't, you know what I mean? I would, if you're a really sweet person, I would help you with stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Or you're not a good speller, I would help you with stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, I wouldn't just throw you to the curb.
So what if it's something a little deeper, like maybe maybe a woman who has like insecurity issues with infidelity, or maybe she thinks you're always doing something. Like, is that something you could deal with?
No.
Like, damn, I gotta go. Like, I can't. You know what I'm saying?
No. If I'm putting the work in, and, you know, I'm at work and I'm giving you a call when I go on break, and, you know, I go home from work and, you know, I'm laying there watching the game or whatever, and I decide to, you know, give you a call and just, hey, what you doing? Yeah, you know. If I'm putting the work in and I'm not giving you a reason to think that he might be or he is, then I expect for you to, you know, give me the benefit of the doubt, so to speak. And no matter what it is I do, no matter what happens, oh, you ain't answer your phone last night because I was asleep. Oh, no, I mean, that's what they all say. I can't. That's what I'm talking about. I can't deal with that.
Okay.
I can't deal with that because I'm not an insecure person.
Right.
And I give the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
You tell me you was asleep, you was asleep.
Right.
Now, if it's 4 in the afternoon, I'm saying you telling me you was asleep and I ain't talking to you until the next morning, nah. You know what I mean? I'm not a fool, but I'm also not, like you said, insecure. So if you're one of them kind of women that's just, I mean, always looking for something, always expecting, and always you know, finger pointing. No. That's not my job. That's not my job. Like I'm not your daddy. That's not my job. Okay. Like no. So, and that's where I'm at with that. Insecurities is definitely something I can't do. Everything, a lot of other things, yeah, I can work with. I can try to help you with. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're genuinely a good person. Right. But insecurities, no, I'm good. And I understand that it might have came from your past, and I mean, it's legit. Right. It's legit, but I'm not him. Right. Yeah. And I'm not going to have to pay for his mistakes. Like I'm just not doing that. I can't do that.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot out there.
And that's where I'm at with it. A lot.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mike, for your time.
You are thoroughly welcome.
And thank you guys for watching. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you next time.